Hyper Beats. Hyper Beats. Hyper Beats. Hyper Beats.
Let's see. Okay. All right. Good night, everyone. Welcome. What's going on? Welcome to I think the 11th episode, season 2 of the Board Experience podcast. How are y'all doing tonight? Um, we have well, there's no need for introduction really. We're just going to go ahead and tell you guys about the week, and then we'll go into what we're discussing tonight, which I will brief you guys on. So, who wants to go? Who wants to go first? Oh wait, just hold on, Just hold on. I just realized it's not picking up you guys' audio for some reason. Just give me a second. Let's see. Okay, try speaking now.
Mic check, one,
Okay,
two.
cool. Let's go.
All right. So yeah. My week, you know. Um. Yeah. Pretty much just going through some stuff. Realizing some stuff. And life has a funny way of throwing the shit to the fan, even if you don't. But all that stuff just builds character, and just gotta take that shit and move on.
Okay. Kate, you want to tell us about the week?
However, it's been, this has been, I spent most of this week from just playing EVE Online because, big things have been happening around my group in that game, and just culminated with a 159 people. That's already like insane for by the standards of other MMOs, but like I was absolutely wild, had a lot of fun, and we won the objectives. Ultimately, I'm feeling good this week.
Okay, good vibe. What about you? Caught in 4K.
Uh,
Marvin, they catch
automatically.
you lacking this week, man. Marvin.
No. I'll explain
Tell
later.
me you were caught in 1080p. Okay.
Okay, bro.
Yeah.
This week it's been a usual week. But it's kind of been a bit up and down. I've been trying to rent a vehicle,
Jeez.
but as doing with no, recently insurance agencies have upped their policies. So it's a bit more difficult for people under 25 to rent a vehicle. Uh, so yeah, for the past 2 weeks, I've been trying to rent a vehicle. I've been calling companies. I finally got one that might be able to help me out, but I still have to confirm. Gotta, I don't know, bro. Once I buy my own vehicle, it's a wrap.
Uh,
Very good vibe. We love to hear, man.
Yeah.
Very interesting. As for me, my week was kind of miserable. Uh, work stuff, but I'm happy. It's the weekend. I'm happy. I'm on the pod. I actually look forward. Every week and or during the week, I should say. I look forward to the pod just to chop it up and hold it down with the boys and thing. So yeah, man. Um, okay, so let's get into it tonight. We're going to be discussing hormonal imbalances, and into that, I want to get into masculine females, feminine males. Um, big up, big up Denville. Jeez, bro, we have a lot of viewers tonight. 4 viewers. I also want to speak on a bit of the homosexuality game as it relates to the hormonal imbalance thing going on, and we're going to do a reaction also. What else? Oh, we have Dread as well viewing. Big up Dread. Um, and I think we can go on with tangents, whatever tangents we have in mind afterward. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's cool.
Come on. Come on.
All
I'm
right,
good.
Alright, good vibe, good vibe, good vibe, good vibe. Alright, so let's see. Masculine females. That's like a big thing going on right now,
Yeah.
doggy. Like, what are your thoughts on that, Missy? Like, of it.
I mean, first of all, it's like, what do you consider masculine
Oh yeah,
females?
well let's
'Cause
start there.
Yeah.
you're talking to a shorty and she call you bruh or my nigga. Like, I know, bro. That's a man to me. Yeah.
Let's touch on all categories. So which one you want to start with first?
I don't know. We can start off with just the light-hearted, just the kicks off, tomboys, girls that act like boys,
Okay,
and then we can get into the biology aspect after.
okay, alright. So me say first question. Like, as you mentioned, tomboy, I just think like, would you check one? Like, would you try and fix a?
I don't think tomboys need fixing.
Don't misquote me. It's like because some fellas, because back in the day, I know, I guess Kev can relate. For shorties that used to be acting like fellas and things like that. Niggas used to think back in the day, doggy, when I go in, I just fix it that. So that's it.
Oh, boy.
So that's where that came from. That's where that came from. So would y'all put yourself in that position of it?
I think Kit was saying something first of all, before I comment.
Was that you said you wanted to say something quick?
No, I said Kit was saying something before I made a comment.
Okay, go ahead, kid.
Yeah. Well, as I don't think tomboys will be fixed. I believe that really I don't have any issues with a tomboy acting tomboyish. They're not confused about anything. That's just their personality disposition.
Okay.
Okay, but would you like date one, like romantically?
I don't think I'd have an issue doing that. I will characterize that by saying that a tomboy is more getting into a relationship with a tomboy. I see it as more likely to progress from I see it as more likely to progress from a friendship rather than immediately being romantic in nature.
Okay. Alright. How about you, Cotton 4K? DV said, wait, hold on, eh? One of the comments said they said no. Okay, let me ask you, Denville, why? Okay, go ahead, Cotton 4K.
The way I see it, if I decide to date a tomboy, then no, I wouldn't try to change her, because you don't wake up one day and end up in a relationship, bro. Like, you knew the person was a tomboy before you got into the relationship. So if it becomes a problem after, then why did you enter the relationship in the first place? That's how I see it. So if I do enter a relationship with a tomboy, I'm not trying to fix her because I already knew it getting into the relationship. That's depends on what you're interested in. But for some people, tomboy might actually be more fun, more willing to, go out. I mean, with fellas, dog, the tomboy, since she's so comfortable with the boys, somebody might look at her, check it, and say she's for the team.
Mm.
So, yeah, yeah.
Where I am mentally, like I personally, under no circumstances would I put myself in a position to, you know, grow romantically with a tomboy.
Okay.
As for me, like that's just my preference. Like I just wouldn't, you know. I don't know if it's because I don't want to say it's a territorial thing because tomboys and it's like but to me, like magnets, same sides of a magnet don't attract, and like only one of us wearing pants around there. Check it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like friends, we can be cool. We can, do whatever.
True, 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 true.
And yeah, I mean, like I'd have no problem hanging out. In 10, back in the day, niggas used to say, like, yeah, boy, if I hang out with a tomboy dog, I go change that shorty. I go change and I go check it. The end goal is to relationship dynamics. Then and like you guys are all saying, like one of them situations where you know what you put yourself into. But as just for me,
Masculine female is what she is, a masculine female. You can try to change her, but it's her choice to make that change. I personally don't want to do it just because I see a masculine female as a bro or a guy or a guy. I just don't feel comfortable with it. Hey, that's fair. Honestly, I share the same sentiments. You know, like only one man wearing pants around. Like and again, like I don't have a problem if with like being friends and in a way I feel like you find a lot of tomboys like they kind of just cool, bro. Like they just cool to be around.
yeah,
That
They,
kind of
they
scene.
like they like the bros, but female.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, basically, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah,
I mean, I
man.
get what you're saying, though. It's all fun and games till you check it. Shorty tell you get in the bed and she pull out a strap on.
Nah, nah, nah,
So
nah.
I get it. Them tomboys, they have some of them that take the whole masculine thing too far.
Oh, doggy, she could be a punch in the nose at one thing.
yeah, what he said.
Respectfully, respectfully. Irie, good vibe, man. Good vibe. Okay.
So Hedda, since we're talking about like that dynamic
Hmm.
of so I think I've been hearing this like clip going around like with like nice guys and so on and so forth. It's like she wants a masculine man
Hmm.
to be more masculine over her masculinity to make Yeah, so I was saying there's a woman in like a clip, a TikTok kind of thing, where she basically saying like right now she's in a place where she feels like she's a self-sufficient woman. You understand? So if she has to be with a guy, that guy's masculinity must overpower her masculinity to make her want to feel feminine.
Now, okay, no. In fact, let 4K go ahead. What happened? You about to say
Uh,
something?
Honestly, I feel like and that's just me. Like, I feel like that's completely ridiculous because you asking for. I understand, wanting to be independent, and I understand like you want to submit if you feel like the man is worth submitting to. I mean, I'm not against girls having standards, so I understand that part. But you're telling me based on what he brings to the table, that is going to determine whether you're feminine or not. To me, that sounds ridiculous. And that's just me. I'm not, it's her opinion, her thought, but it just sounds ridiculous. You either like femininity shouldn't be about like you shouldn't be doing it for somebody else. That seems like you kind of putting on a facade. It's kind of fake.
Right.
If you are feminine and that's part of your personality and your character, then that's fine. But you shouldn't be doing it because you somebody else wants it. It should be part of who you are. I understand if she wants to, like I said, if she wants to be independent until a man that she feels is worthy of, her submitting and whatnot. I understand that. We had that discussion several times about like what women look for in a man. We spoke about that before. So I understand having standards. I just think the feminine part it should solely.
I'll just add to what 4K said and say, I think we watched Kevin Samuels, right? So I'll just take a piece from what he usually says about, I think it's this, what the sexual marketplace or the market value, and a woman's self-sufficiency. Correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. Is not rooted in like, how do I put it? It's like, okay, so you see how a man has his house, he has his shit together, something like that. That is part of a man's value. But when that's in a woman, I might be phrasing it wrong. It's not really part of her value. What is part of her value is her femininity, embracing her embracing her feminine side, what she looks like, and there are a few other factors that I just can't remember them right now. But
Yeah, yeah.
that's
So
my
it's like one of them things where it's like a man's like he say a man's value is is mostly and a majority you know dependent on how much money he makes. Not only, but majority. As we know, biologically, men are to be. And we're not saying like society expect us to be. That's just literally what it is. Men are the protectors and the providers. Now, what do we protect and provide? We protect the women. We protect the children. We protect so many other things.
communities.
So what do we provide? We provide finance. We provide financial aid and financial help to the families, to the communities, spiritual help, physical help, mental help. Marketplace that is perfect, for the marketplace because women. It's true we live in a day and age where women are quote self-sufficient and independent and so on and so forth. But side note, I've heard many a woman figures. On a side note, woman's value is not based on what a man's value would be based off of, especially from a relationship or romance dynamic. Because as men are more visual, human beings, a woman's now value would be based on three things: her looks, her femininity, and her intellect. Now, what a lot of women tend to mistake is intellect and education. So now you get women who want to go to school and want to get a master's and a bachelor's and so on and so forth. And a lot of women lead with those things, especially in the dating game. I'm a master in this, I'm a master in that. And, it's all well and good, and we're happy, but these are just not the things that men are looking
Looking for,
for in a
yeah.
relationship dynamic. You understand? So it's one of those things where it needs to be revised. KS, like, he does a good job of doing so, but people just, I don't know, because once you corner a wild animal, it will just freak out. So, but I mean, yeah, that's basically, in summary, an explanation of that whole high value dynamic.
Yeah, but like based on what you're saying, it still sounds like societal norms. Like it's heavily rooted in societal norms, especially like
And do you think it's a modern, like a modern society type of classification?
no. It's been like that for the longest while. Women have generally been seen as housekeepers, um, rearing the family. Wait, what's going on with doing Mike there?
Oh,
So
my bad, my bad.
yeah, women have generally been seen as, that kind. They play that kind of role. They're the housekeepers. They take care of the children. They take care of the house and everything around the house. And the men, for as long as humans, have been the providers. They've been the heads of the household, and they essentially provide for the family. That's their role. They lead, they provide, they protect. And women, they raise children, they support their spouse, their partner, and that's just how things are. But but society has developed to a point where I think money has become more relevant. So
Yeah.
as society evolved, things became more rooted in money. Things like barter and trade started, leaving what we know. So farmers and hunters were not as, it wasn't as popular of a role. So we started moving into more modern jobs, and the real in your money and how much you make. So I think society has moved to the point where money is everything, and money is a proof. It has become proof of a man's worth. You can remove gender roles. They are there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
A woman shouldn't only be valued for what she can do. They they do what the other cannot, and if that's the dynamic, um, then the men will always be into the money aspect, and so men have been
Yeah.
valued for their money in the past. who could hunt the biggest game, who could, you know, who had the biggest farm. It has always been about value and what men can provide. I'm just saying that money is now the standard.
Yeah,
Okay, well said, bro. Well
I
said.
agree.
Well said.
And also I want to point out too, it's to anyone here not seeing it. It's not one of those situations where everyone who wants a man with money, or everyone who wants someone who can provide. Not everyone is a gold digger, right?
Yeah.
There are women who would be at a man's beck and call because he has money, but biologically, the response a woman would have, even a good woman to a man with money, whereas one would think, what to get out of him, one would think, okay, I know he can definitely take care of the family, and that can also prompt them to pursue a man.
Yep.
So it's two different responses, in females, and that's just what it is.
Well said. Well said. I don't have anything to add to that. You just wrapped that up so nicely. Kit, you have anything to add?
Nope.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Very good vibe. Good vibe. You're still having an issue with my mic?
It
Not
happens
really.
when you're quiet.
Okay. Okay. Just
Like
give
after
me
you
a
stop talking for a while.
Okay. Alright.
You guys know somebody's coming in. I can't take the controller.
Okay. Alright. Okay. So, feminine males, niggas that are feminine. Do you think part of why fellas are so feminine now is it because like society is more free up thing now? You can wear what you want, say what you want. Or would you guys say because of well, we did not. I don't think we really touched on the other sector of the masculine female. But do you think?
Yeah, I think you can do the biological aspect on both sides at the same time.
Okay, alright, good vibe. Yeah. Do you guys think that would contribute, or what? Or should I ask? What do you guys say is the main in their emotions? That kind of thing.
No. First of all, let's establish that there's nothing wrong with being in your emotion. You playing at a class norm that breeds toxic masculinity.
Okay.
We've spoken about this.
Hey. Fair point. Fair point.
What I would kind of disagree with the wording of that.
Okay.
I would more say there's nothing wrong with not being afraid of your emotions or not being afraid to express when you need to. But as opposed to just being an emotional male. I think the wording, I agree with what he said, but the wording, it just, to me personally, it would make a bit more sense had it had been said that way. But
Okay, let me clarify. Let me try to see from your point of view. What do you see as an emotional male? Like, what does it mean to you?
So an emotional male, like say for example, any trial or any tribulation or any anything that is thrown his way, he's easily reactive or he's highly reactive. Like say if he's rejected by a girl or he didn't get the job, his first reaction would be not to step back logically and analyze the situation and see what he can do better, but his reaction would be to immediately let his emotion determine his reaction, for lack of a better term.
I see where you're coming from now. I think that was the difference. I agree with what you're saying. I thought doing meant an emotional male, as in somebody who doesn't express themselves, somebody who refuses
Okay.
like, you never vent, you never let it out. That's what I thought he meant by in your feelings.
Oh, that's true. Okay, fair enough.
But even in venting and well, okay, let me ask a question. Even in venting, do you think that as a man, like, you should express yourself in a certain manner and not vent in a
Yeah, I could
I try
just
to go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, you might have to phrase that well.
Yeah.
I could give my take on the whole venting thing. To me, I find venting is okay, but as a man, two things: you should vent in a safe space, and you, like, I agree that you check it. You have a facade. It's not that men don't cry, but it's toughen up, bro. You gotta be out there you check it, all this kind of important
That's
Yeah,
why
things,
I could,
yeah,
right?
that's why you said
You
yeah,
mixed
check it.
yeah.
signals.
Nah.
No,
Listen,
no, I
it's
understand
time
what
and
he's
place.
saying.
No, no. It's like one time you say like okay.
All right. Okay. For example,
Uh
let's say you're in a relationship,
okay.
right?
Mm.
And you're at tough, and you vent to shorty. You check it. That's what she's there for, emotional support. She's the one that's supposed to be there for you in your tough time.
True, true, true,
Check
true, true.
it. You check it. You just
Ah,
it's time and place. You
that's
check it. You don't
crazy.
have to express everything all the time. Just
Yeah, man. One thing you come home. I go if there is that I go just make sure you take my solo away, doggy, simply. But
Yeah,
but yeah, I get where you're coming from, Dolly. I get where you're coming from. Definitely.
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
G.
I so what?
And like,
Mm,
yeah, I was just saying briefly, as for me personally, like I'm saying, fellas, don't, and I would use myself as an example, right? Don't make the mistake to vent to a shorty that you're not in a committed relationship with.
True.
You understand? Honestly speaking, it's not a pride thing, it's not an ego thing, but in moments of weakness, you know, those are times where you heed or you need rather the most, guidance. Because sometimes as fellas, logically speaking, if we get to a point where we feel like we need to vent, we feel like we need to cry, in those moments we are more susceptible to take feedback and to apply it whether we like it subconsciously, right? So sometimes you would take out your vent to shorty and shorty, you just need to be nice and you need to be this, that,
Or
and the
true.
other. And you go ahead and you do that and you end up getting yourself, in a deeper situation, right? So as for me personally, if you are not in a committed relationship with a female or with a woman who has a high intellect and who is able, no matter how high it is, but who is able to actually logically view a situation and give logical advice, I wouldn't recommend it. What I would recommend is if you live with both of your parents, you can talk to your dad. If you're young and you're listening to this, or whoever you are, you can talk to your dad about the situation.
I read down there.
Especially if you
That's,
dad
that's interesting.
is if you know your dad is a masculine person, if you know your dad is someone you respect, you can talk to him about it. If not, I recommend talking to one of the guys that you trust to, or you talk to a professional therapist, someone who is licensed, You understand? Because everyone talks a tough talk about, men should be expressive with their emotions with everyone, and it's okay to cry. Sometimes you just need to cry to anyone and everyone, fellas, and don't fall for that trap, please.
Yeah. It even brings me dynamic, but
Dog,
they
shorties on
say
Twitter, they are not real people, okay?
Nah, bro. Honestly,
that's
if
like
if your shorty have Twitter and she actually tweeting consistently, bro, just don't tell that shorty
Dog,
anything.
dog. The things
I'm
that we
telling you.
say, they make it seem as if come talk to me,
Uh,
come vent to me. But then, doggy, as soon as you fall for the trap, as Kim said,
and
Wow.
then you see in your story in a Twitter thread, you wondering what going on.
doggy, like, dog, it's ah, deadly, deadly, vicious world, doggy.
It's a cool world, bro.
Honestly, honestly. Um, okay, let me just take a look at the comments. Okay, big up. Big up X. X said, Chem is speaking facts. X, facts. Okay. Big up, man. Big up. Okay. I think we slid on a tangent a little bit. We meant to delve into something. I just can't. Oh, yes, I remember now. So or did you guys answer that already? When I asked,
What
what,
contributes to
yeah,
feminine males?
yeah, like what do you guys think is the main problem contributing to that? Like, what's the
Um,
source? What's what? Come on.
the source of feminine males.
Mm,
You want to explain that or
Yeah, yeah. By all means. So,
mm,
you know, I think we all know we live in a society where, when it comes to accountability, not in all aspects, and not all women, as a disclaimer, but when it comes to, accountability, that level is lowered for our female counterpart. So, the kids and the making of children and the so on and so
mm,
forth, and you know, women in general cannot raise a man how a man would be able to raise a young man, right?
okay.
There's only a woman can do. Even if that woman is playing both roles in the house, there's only so much she can do when it comes to characteristics, character traits, the way she speaks, the way she walks. And sometimes, I don't know if any of you have ever asked your mom, for example, like for dating advice or stuff like that. And you know how they would say you need to be nice and be humble and show them you love them and always check up on them and always do this and always do that. Let me tell you, that is not a good mix, because now when those guys grow up and, just specifically speaking, the relationship dynamic, and they use those things that they were raised to believe to be true, when the parents themselves are not attracted to that type of man, when they do not get the feedback or the reaction that they are looking for, then now it would be a situation where just the fact that they have not had that masculine emotional presence, it is much easier for them to respond in a way that their mom would respond in that situation. And that's just like, in a dating aspect. But when it comes to, biologically and, being feminine to the point where, it's borderline homosexual, I believe personally that's more of a biological thing. When I say feminine women, for feminine men, as a result of single moms, not necessarily feminine in a biological sense, but the way of female would be softer as opposed to a man raising a son to be more assertive. You'll find that single moms raise, young guys to be a bit softer as opposed to assertive.
Okay. Okay. 4K, you wanted to you mentioned that it was interesting. You wanted to give any thoughts or feedback on that?
Um, Ari, so what I was thinking, the whole feminine, male dynamic. To me, like if you really narrow it down, I agree with most of what Kevin said. If you have a scenario, because really and truly, you don't know anything from birth, and everything you know is learned behavior. So generally speaking, you tend to follow what your mother does. If it's a single parent home, a single mother,
Right.
because that's the only example you have. And it can go one of two ways. Either you stick to what your mother taught you and you stick to what you learned from her, or you just go by, whatever you see fellas doing. And generally, the example that males have are, guys on the street, guys they see,
Right.
uh, yeah, around, because it's not like any, how do I say, well, I almost say self-respecting. It's not like any man who's making the most of his time and being productive is sitting there idly waiting for some random somebody's child to come and mirror them. Check it. The fellas sitting in the block with nothing to do would quicker see them and then say, "Oh, small boy," and that is how they get roped into it. That's how I see it. Um, so yeah, you can take one of two paths. Either you go down the route where you follow the fellas in your neighborhood, the fellas you see on the street, or you follow what your parent does, and in this case, it would be your mother. And since that's the example you have, that's the behavior you tend to display. So yeah, it's like daughters raised with a single father. It boils down to the same thing or something similar, I should say. So yeah, I agree with what Cam said.
Okay, let me just take some time to read the comments. X said um especially when the advice is generally coming from the mom. Even in a nuclear family, the father would let the mother to give advice or deal with a situation. The guy only learning how to deal with the situation from a female perspective.
Precisely. Precisely. Yes, that's
Yeah,
a great observation also.
yeah, that's a good point too. That's a good point too. Cause you find even in the home, sometimes the dads would step back and you know, let the mom handle certain things. But I feel like together they should handle a situation. So the mom gives a perspective, okay, cool. The dad gives his perspective, and they should do it in a way. They should do it in a way where it's like where they don't contradict each other. So they would have to discuss it and then bring it forward.
Right. But then again, it's a domino
Right.
effect. So sometimes you have to ask yourself, like, the father in the scenario, how was he raised? Who gave him advice when he was growing
That's
up?
true. That's
So
true. That's
if
true.
he grew up with his mother as a
True.
source of advice, when he has his children, everything will go to your mother, go to your mother. It's a domino effect.
Jeez, wait. I didn't think so far.
Yeah.
And then if you trace it all the way back and back and back, dog, that's nuts.
Yeah. And sometimes these
I'm telling
guys,
you.
because they were poorly raised, they grow up to have children and they raise them poorly, and now you have
And this
just
cycle.
a bunch of boys raising boys. Yeah, I can't even call them men. A
Yeah.
bunch of boys raising boys.
Damn, bro. Damn, bro.
Yeah.
That's
There's,
that's crazy. Kitty,
there's
Kitty, you want to
one
say
more,
something?
there is one more factor in the creation of feminine males that feminine male that is definitely not as big as familial, probably not as familial influence and stuff like that. But well, the general culture these days, especially internet culture, um, is certainly propping up the idea of a femboy and yeah, and when you are and this is an age where where children are getting on the internet and browsing it from very young ages,
Yeah,
they are easily impressionable.
yeah.
Yeah.
True.
It's I definitely believe that there is that is a contributing factor.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah,
For
man.
sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
man. It's becoming a popular thing now, you know. But I mean, the way I see it, like, okay, you can freak out and thing, but when it's time to, you know, do what you have to do, you do what you have to do. That's how I see it.
There's another thing though. I think in a lot of cases,
Mm.
society has made a lot of things. All right. So, for example,
Yeah, not silence you. I want to continue.
Mhm.
Um, as an example of that, like which behavior set is considered desirable in schools again?
Which behavior set?
Yeah, which sex's natural behavioral tendencies are preferred in a school setting?
Oh, I understand. Yeah, generally females.
Mm.
It's
Like the
so
soft, quiet, calm.
Mm. That's
rough
true,
house,
you know.
Oh
That's
yeah,
true, you
that's
know.
true.
it's a long trait that's been gaining speed.
Yo,
Yeah,
that's.
Mr. Fellas, we lost from Buffy. We lost the game from Buffy.
What? Man.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, Missy, I don't want to forget. I have a reaction I want us to do. Let me just get to Shane quickly. Um, but yeah, basically it's basically just an interview. It's 13 minutes about an intersex individual. It's very interesting. You guys know the drill. Y'all just tell me when to pause. So I'll just put it up to play right now. Okay, I see my thing freaking out there. Okay. Task manager. Nope. Okay, there we go. Tell me if you guys can see it. I should be able to see it. Okay, I'm going to switch the stream now. Test. Okay, they can hear me. That's audio output. Okay. Test. Okay, they can hear me now. Okay, cool. Alright, I'm going to play now.
Out of common courtesy, I would explain things all the time anyway. Like I would say straight away, like, hey, I've got like I got a small dick, or I'd be like, oh, I've got a pussy, or
When you were born, did your parents know that you were intersex?
it's kind of hard to tell if you're intersex normally at birth, unless you have like your ambiguous genitalia are so ambiguous that you obviously notice that the person's a hermaphrodite / intersex. Yeah. When I was born, I had a large clitoris, but there was no actual immediate concern or anything like that. So I had a vagina and a big clitoris, but yeah.
You were raised then as a girl.
Yeah, I was raised as a girl.
When did you notice there was a difference between you and the other girls?
I thought I looked like a girl, but according to the whole of my school and everybody that's known me in the last 25 years, I look like a boy. There was nothing about me that screamed girl, other than the fact that I had a vagina hole. I had never like hung out with any of the girls. I'd never like interacted with them. I'd never related to them. I always had a very raspy voice. I had no chest. I was in football teams. I was in basketball teams. I was doing the best in all of my sports.
Did that feel weird being different from the other girls?
Yeah, it was just a constant comments. I knew when PE or something was going to come up, something where it involved like sport activities or anything to do with gym class. I knew that, the girls were going to start, I wasn't allowed to get changed with them in their changing room or anything. Because even though, like, I say clitoris, I say that loosely. My clitoris is basically like a very small dick. I can swear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like a very small dick. It still has erections. It's very veiny, and yeah, I love it. So yeah, but obviously
fuck?
that was the conflict of interest all the time. It was the where to get changed, who to get changed with, who to get changed next to, like who. It was this constant like a battle, like a double-edged sword, 24/7. People's parents were coming up to me asking me, like, they were in shock. They were just like, "There's no way you're a girl. You're a boy." I got asked to lift up my shirt a lot, and obviously I had a very masculine chest. People didn't believe me. These are grown adults that would do this as well. And because of the way I am, I didn't see it as offensive. I just saw them as dumb. Because if I've told you that I'm one thing and you're telling me that I'm not another thing, and you're like 30, 35, like that makes you look stupid. No offense.
I think you're allowed to offend them. That's all. But did that not feel embarrassing?
Sometimes I would feel like, maybe they're right. Like, am I a girl? Like, maybe this whole girl thing ain't for me. And I think there'd be like once or twice where I'd maybe be like angry that they're asking these questions, because there were some tough times, like in every single lesson at school, constant questions. I couldn't ever focus on my lessons. I think I failed a few of my GCSEs just because of all the question asking alone. I was having really, really, really bad abdominal pains, and I thought it might have been stones. I don't know what it could have been, anything. So I went up to Lewisham Hospital and I got my ultrasound done. Well, I had to wait for my ultrasound. I had to go to my GP. Then I had to finally got my ultrasound, and then when they did the ultrasound, they saw the testicles, which were placed like either side where you'd think like the ovaries would be, I guess.
Just to break it down, so you had inverted testicles in
Yeah.
the body.
Yeah.
Did you also have ovaries
Yeah, and ovaries as well.
in the body as well?
Yeah.
What?
You had everything.
I had everything. I had the male and the female of everything.
That moment when you get the scan, how did you feel?
like everything made sense. I felt like everything made sense. I felt like at the end of the day, I had a hunch. I kind of already knew my need to want to be a boy, but then to want to be a girl didn't make sense neither to me. I just wanted to 1 minute literally just put on, you know, something nice, look like a girl, and then the next minute put on something really nice, look like a boy, because I could do both. Trust me, I was a beautiful girl. But obviously, like,
It's okay.
I don't know. I just feel like I got so much respect being a man than I did being a girl. So I just thought to myself, well, I might as well be a man then. So a lot of my decision was swayed, which is sad to say, on other people's opinions, but it was also something that I knew that I wanted, because I knew that if I would have stayed as a woman, I would have always thought, oh, what would life have been like as a man? If I stayed as a man, which I am now, I often just sometimes think, oh, what would life have been like as a woman?
You have a discussion with your parents then about how did your parents feel?
You know, my mum and dad, especially my mum, okay, dad, you too as well. I know you've tried your hardest to be able to get your head into terms with how you know, we're gonna live as a family. You know, what about if I change my mind? But my mum has always been there. You know, she came with me to all my appointments, my endocrinology appointments. She came with me to all the therapy appointments. They were far, and she came with me to them. And you know, like we kind of celebrated it after each time. You know, this was kind of like her version of like her son going through puberty and knowing that this is actually natural and this is normal, this is something we couldn't have helped, and you know, she's been so supportive. So yeah, I'm just really grateful about that. You know, my brother and sister, they don't know nothing. When they do find out, it will be from this video, because obviously I've told them time and time again, but I don't think I've explained it to them in the way that it's kind of hard explaining to your brother and sister about you being born a certain way that they don't even, you know what I mean, they don't know nothing about.
When did you start living as a boy?
About 13.
These are quite formative ages. What was dating like? Did you have to like explain things before sexual interactions?
Yeah, so out of common courtesy, I would explain things all the time anyway. Like I would say straight away, like, hey, you know, I've got, you know, like, you know, I got a small dick, or I'd be like, oh, you know, I got a pussy. Or I think, you know, because I'm intersex, I feel like with men, they get the aura of a female, even though you can clearly see that I'm a guy. They get the aura of a female, so they might be confused, thinking, why am I starting to like this person? Why am I starting to like my emotions are changing, even though they're straight?
God.
And the same things happened with women as well. They're like, oh, so like, why am I like? This is when I used to just identify as just whatever. It was like one of them kind of things where, and I realized that was because I don't think that they'd actually quite understood to full capacity that I'm a boy and a girl. So if a guy was to kind of fall in love with me, then I suppose he'd be straight. And if a girl fell in love with me, then I suppose she'd be straight or bi or something. I don't know. I don't really research this stuff.
Is sex different?
For reference, this is like
Definitely, sex is
the only kind of person that I'm fine with, you know, just identifying as whatever, like you said. It's like this. It's like stick to your biology. In this case, the biology supports him saying, "Oh, I'm a woman," or "I'm a guy." It supports him. It supports him making whatever kind of decision he wants. So I'm like, this is where I say, okay, identify as whatever you want.
True.
You're ready for me
Man
to
had
continue, or you're not ready for
Ovaries.
Okay, go ahead.
You can continue. It's just that yo,
Dog.
she dog. Wait. Anyways, the individual
Yeah.
had both ovaries and testicles, a small penis, and then a pussy hole. That that individual could have pregnant and impregnate somebody else.
I mean, if you ever think about it, he could probably kill himself.
So
Dog.
I thought of that as soon as the video started. As soon as he mentioned the state of his dick, I thought of that, but I didn't want to say it.
That one go on.
yo,
That one can plug
yo.
himself, you doggy. What?
What?
Let me see. I play it.
Yeah, go.
Definitely differ with different genders. So with men, it would be more of a less passionate. It would be we're gonna have sex. Bye, gone. I'd be at the door. And then with women, it was
Wait,
more
fellas, do that?
romantic. You know, I'd be the guy.
Button, man.
Pattern, man. The man was exploring his sexuality.
So,
Gee, yeah, what the man say? The man say the fact that he had both is like some fellas, even though they were straight, questioning like why they getting a feminine vibe from him, like why they want to sleep with him. It's like he looks kind of like a man, but like I still want to sleep with him. And then he say like, even though these street fellas decided to sleep with him at the time, them man would have still be straight. You check it? Because
no. But I think at some point it's like post nut clarity. Like you finish and it's like, hey, what have I done? So you're out the door before anybody can see you.
dog, imagine you having sex with this individual and his small penis is juking you every time you
Dog, I wouldn't want to.
and you're both nut at the same time. No, okay, continue that. Continue that. Continue that.
Okay. That's a real nice question. So like
Just
like there's nut from both places at once.
I would like to
No,
point out
doggy, we
that
have to ask him. I don't know.
I would like to point out that both males and females emit a concoction of a set of pheromones that partially informs attraction of the opposite sex. So it's entirely possible that this guy actually produces both sets.
Wow. Boy,
Dog, the
doing-
killer had both ovaries and testicles. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Though.
but they're like scarecrow doggy, make you smelly glass. See what you want.
No cap. I see. I continue there.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? I'm putting it down. It would be, it's. I think I prefer sex at the door. And something. I don't know. I don't really research this stuff.
Is sex different with different genders?
Definitely, sex is definitely different with different genders. So with men, it would be more of a less passionate. It would be we're gonna have sex. Bye, gone. I'd be at the door. And then with women, it was more romantic. You know, I'd be the guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting it down. It would be, it's. I think I prefer sex with women, but the feeling with men when I had a vagina hole was nice. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was really nice. But like, women give you something that men just don't give. I don't think.
So then when you were 15, you wanted to live as a man. So what has to happen now?
So I got sustained on. So it winds out your face more. I went from a size 7 to a size 10.5. And of course, obviously, it gives you more boners. You get a boner like every single morning, like a regular guy would anyway. You get very hairy, like everywhere, until then your face then becomes like really hairy. I loved it. Love it. I was just every set like it was the best times of my life actually. I'm not even gonna lie. The best times of my life. I looked amazing. And I was going to the gym every day. I was really using the testosterone to build what I think should have been built. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, maybe a little while ago. Do you get what I'm saying? So it was a thing where I was just using the testosterone to the best of my advantage. You know, I had more stamina. I was horny every day. So it was just beautiful to actually feel those feelings. It was really nice.
So can you tell us what surgery entails when you're intersex?
So phalloplasty and metoidioplasty. So we're going to start at metoidioplasty. Metoidioplasty is basically when they release the clitoris. So instead of the clitoris being held down by the ligaments, they cut the ligaments and they release the clitoris, which then gives you kind of like what I've got right now, like the baby penis thing going on. And then they close up the vagina. What they do after that is they create the urethral lengthening. So they make the urethra be able to come through the very tiny hole in the small penis. So the second surgery is phalloplasty. So with phalloplasty, it's a way more invasive surgery, which takes way more of your time, your life, your energy, your mental health. But basically, they chop off the skin on the forearm. They take an artery as well from the forearm, and they take some fat and all of that. So obviously, the penis can have a bit of chunking. I've got metoidioplasty and phalloplasty. I wanted 2 dicks. First of all, let's get that straight. Secondly, I wanted to make sure I could penetrate with both of them as well at the same time. Because
Dog.
Yeah, what Diamond said.
This one got you.
Dog.
He's got
Dog.
Damages. What? Damages, he customized character there, you know.
You know you got the
No,
character.
no.
You got his hands on the character creator. He
Ah.
made what he wanted.
It's sick.
No. The boss.
Like,
Wow.
let's get that straight. Oh my god.
This man sliding in the pink and the stink at the same time.
Doggy, what? Free Sons is a dream for nobody. It's
Dog.
Hold on, let me bring it back. Let me
Oh
bring it back.
my god.
Let me bring it back a little bit.
dicks. First of all, let's get that straight. Secondly,
Let's get that
I wanted to make
straight.
sure I could penetrate with both of them as well at the same time. Because what guy wouldn't want to have 2 dicks?
What a sentence.
Yeah.
I do not wrong.
I feel you say that.
Were you happy with?
No, yeah, the awkward laugh.
I'm happy that I did it now, and I'm also looking forward to getting the rest done. Once I get my erectile device in, I'm gonna get the one where you can squeeze the balls and the dick goes up like a natural erection. Can't wait.
What?
Sick, to be honest.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's the only way that getting hard.
If there's one thing that people can take away from this video about being intersex, what do you want it to be?
I feel like an alien 24/7. Like even right now, sitting here, I feel like an alien because I'm talking about something which I didn't ask for. Do you get what I'm saying? I would have loved to have either been a natural born beautiful woman with, you know, a husband and a few kids that drive me crazy and a big house and all that kind of stuff, or I would have preferred to have just been a regular male with you know, a normal working penis, a wife and a few kids that also drive me crazy. But that is what I would have wanted. I wouldn't have wanted so much confusion because the confusion is immense.
What more can we do to make it easier for someone growing up intersex?
I think, to be extremely honest, it's just not mentioning it a lot of the time, but that's never gonna happen. People are never gonna not mention. But when someone finds out you're intersex, they ain't ever shutting up about it. Or they're gonna tell their friend. Of course they're gonna tell their friend because it's something that's different. And when something's different, obviously, you know, that people want everyone to know. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh hi, here's my intersex friend Rajante. And then next thing you know, the whole house party or rave or like big event that I'm at, everyone knows. Yeah, just don't make a big deal because intersex basically, like, people always think of genitalia straight away. That, well, first of all, they're confused, and then when you explain to them what it all means, then they go straight to this whole genitalia thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna ask to see your penis or your vagina unless I want to have sex with you. So why are you asking to see my dick? Because of like trans men and trans women and stuff like that, intersex kind of gets like it's only just been included, and that's why I do videos like this, because I want to make intersex be like, you know, something that people think about when they think about trans. They think about any of the LGBTQIA. I want them to think about the I and the intersex.
That's basically it.
yeah. Dog.
I hope you folks had your eyes open by this video.
Yeah, man, for sure. Like that's what motivated. That after viewing that video, that's what really motivated me to, you know. Oh wait. I came forth with, in the beginning of this episode actually. So. Wow. So any major takeaways? What happened?
How much
Marvel.
just bro,
First of all, I have a list of questions.
Like, okay, go for it. Go for it. Wait, let me read
Bro,
one of
I
the
don't think
comments. Let me read one of the
you can
comments.
answer the question.
Let me just read one of the comments. Dread would have said, he said, "We have wed kinks." He said we have wed kinks. I don't know about
Okay,
that one, but but I go lie, doggy. That one was, I don't know, it was interesting, doggy, and I don't know, I opened it in a way for me, you know.
yeah, okay. So would you sleep with that man?
No, dog, no, I
You
wouldn't.
sure? You sound a little unsure there, though. Like,
Go, I hold it down, doggy.
Yeah,
Hold it
the
down,
way
hold
to
it
know
down.
that is like
Oh, dog,
no.
no, I don't do it. I just thinking of like what he was saying at the end. Like when people just, like when you think of intersex people just immediately go to genitalia.
that's that's literally the difference, you know. That's
Yeah, well, well, I guess when he mentioned it, he made it seem as if like there's more to it, which from what he
other
said in the
than that,
video,
you
there is.
either a man or a woman, bro.
What's that?
I see, other than that, you either a man or a woman like everybody else. But I mean, it's the genitalia that really that's the big difference.
Okay,
That's that's the takeaway.
okay,
Yeah, and I feel like it also kind of affects the mind too. The main obvious driving, difference is the genitalia, but like he said, him now, closing up his vagina and doing whatever.
so gonna.
Like in as much as he has penises, like he's
Hold on.
like he feels like
Kim, your mic it kind of cutting off a little bit there.
mic check on you.
Mic check. Wait, try it again. Try checking again.
Mic check 1 2.
Okay. Okay.
Check 1 2.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was just saying, like he was sitting there and he still feels like an alien, like he still feels foreign, you know. And like Glenn was saying, like there's certain pheromones that are released, in males and females to kind of attract, the opposite sex. Like the fact that he was able, that individual was able to, accomplish that. I feel like obviously his brain chemistry had to have also been affected outside of just the genitalia. So, he was, him speaking up is, kind of open everyone else's, mind and vision up to, that possibility as opposed to just, just the genitalia and being intrusive on, his genitalia, and like wanting to see it and, just stuff like that. So.
Okay. Cream, what about you? Kate. Yeah, Kate, you there? Okay, I think Kate might be AFK. 4K. I mean, I still think you can, even though we might not be able to answer, we could just, I mean, the questions you mentioned. We could
Oh no, that's just I'll just keep it up.
Oh, okay.
The way I see it, it's like I said earlier, it's I mean that's what stands out when you think of somebody that's intersex. Like that's where your questions lie. Like what's it like having genitalia as an intersex,
Mm.
right? I mean, even for me, my first question was like, can he impregnate himself, right? That was my first question,
Mm.
and it's not because I'm not saying it out of disrespect, but that's what comes to mind first,
Mm.
right? So I think considering the fact that we're humans are generally curious creatures.
Mm.
I think they'll always ask questions. They'll always want to know, especially considering that they don't know what it's like for themselves.
Mm.
They'll always feel the need to ask or to want to find out. Um, and I think that's what's happening. And it might be uncomfortable for him, and
Mm.
that's understandable. I mean, not really something you go talk about.
Right, right.
Um, and especially knowing that you are in a position that not many other people are in,
Mm.
you
Mm.
feel like something's wrong. You feel like you have a problem,
Yeah.
and I get that, and I get
Mm.
that. So I understand where he's coming from. And of course, I mean, it's not his fault.
Mm.
He didn't ask for it, but he had to live with it. So I guess the best thing I can say right now is that I understand.
Okay. Um, big up, big up, Cohen. I see Cohen in the comments. Big shout out to you, bro. Um, wow, wow. That was a lot to unpack. I would like to tell you. Um, it's already after 12 now, and it's been an hour, almost an hour and 30 minutes. So I think we'll conclude around here.
Just so you know,
Around
we never spoke on the biological aspect of.
here. Yeah, I know, I
Actually,
know,
we can finish that off.
I know.
Have that be the last thing we talk about.
Yeah,
If anything, we might have to have a part two.
yeah, yeah. It's because I've been trying to narrow down the pod to at least to like what, an hour 30. Um, that's what the viewers have been suggesting. So just so that it can be a bit more digestible and compact, tight.
I get you.
So we will definitely have to wrap up the biological aspect. But no, I'm going off track. Yeah, so we definitely have to wrap it up. I'm not too sure when. I think I will have that scheduled for maybe next month. Yeah, maybe mid next month, because I have some upcoming. We have some upcoming content to be uploaded. One of which is we have an Invincibles episode. Where we strictly talk about Invincible, the comic, the superhero genre as relates to movies, comics, etc. That will be coming in the form of a premiere. I don't know if it'll drop this week or this weekend. I'm not too sure.
You said that like you're not the one dropping it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure when I should drop it. That's the thing. But we'll discuss. I'll discuss it. I'll discuss it with you guys, and then we'll decide. Okay, guys. Final thoughts. Conclusions.
I'm gonna go cook my beans.
Okay, nice.
Good vibe. Good for you, dog.
Red beans.
Any final thoughts, Forky?
Yeah. Let's, in keeping with the theme of this episode, I mean, if you're a male, just be a man, and don't let that statement, "be a man," conform you to society's standards. Be a man in your own way. but keep in mind that a man has responsibilities. Likewise for females, uh, and likewise for intersex people. But I think my biggest point will be that despite being a man, a woman, or an intersex person, uh, there's always a BRZ for you. So
Okay, okay, all right, buddy. Okay,
yeah, keep that in mind.
okay.
What do you
Um,
Kim?
so yeah, I think what I'm gonna say is more geared towards the guys and with emotions. There's a fine line between expressing yourself and having emotional control. So don't be afraid to, take a step back at times and before you react to a situation. In your mind, stop yourself in your tracks or train yourself to do so. And it does it. Because once you're able to step back and think logically about a situation before you react, it gives you the power and the leverage over that situation, and also when it comes to venting or dating advice or so on and so forth, I would highly, highly, highly recommend seeking professional help. If you cannot get professional help, you can talk to your dad about it if your dad is someone respectable. If you can't do either, talk to the guys. Some trusted people guys you will talk to someone. If you're suicidal, definitely, please, for the love of God, get some help. Understand? Because the roads ahead are so much more sweeter than what you think. Trust me.
Okay, well said. Y'all said you already shared most of my sentiments. But what I will say, guys, is just remember when you're listening to us, you don't have to stare at the screen while we're live. You could look at us while you're doing whatever, playing game, washing dishes, hanging clothes. You don't have to be confined to your seat. Looking. I know we did a reaction, but I feel like the audio would have been, it would have been enough. Um, I will also add, if you are interested in, the superhero scene, the Marvel, the DC scene, the live action movies and stuff going on, as well as Invincible, be sure to look out for that this week. And yeah, I really don't have anything else other than stay safe and good night. So we'll see you guys hopefully next week. Okay, everyone. Good night.
Yes.
Okay.
Like
Hydrant Beats.